Okay, so today I am going to record for you a ritual, a short ritual of evoking Archangel Azrael to find out information for friend and client of mine, Rose, about what she should do with her ancestors. So I will perform the ritual first and then I will comment on the ritual later. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. I call you the blessed Prophet Muhammad and your blessed family to raise the sacred space. Allah 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 I call you Azrael by the power of Allah. I call you Azrael by the power of Allah. I call you Azrael by the power of Allah. I call you Azrael by the power of Allah. I call you Azrael by the power of Allah. I call you Azrael by the power of Allah. I call you Azrael by the power of Allah. I call Azrael to come by the power of Allah. Al-Muqtadir, Al-Aziz. I call you Azrael to come by the power of Al-Aziz. I call you Azrael to come by the power of Al-Aziz. Al-Aziz, 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 Al-Aziz. Al-Aziz, 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 Al-Aziz. I call you Azrael to come by the power of Al-Aziz, 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 Al-Aziz. I call you all this to empower me to summon Azrael. I call you Azrael by the power of Allah. I call you Azrael by the power of Allah. I call you Azrael by the power of Allah. I call you Azrael by the power of Allah. I call you Azrael. Azrael by the power of Allah. I call you Azrael by the power of Allah. I call you Azrael by the power of Allah. Come and possess me, Azrael, to speak. If you wish to work with your ancestors, this needs to be done. You have to call me every day for 3 days by the power of Al-Mumit. That is the divine name you should use. You will call me in the following manner. I call you Azrael by the power of Al-Mumit. And you will repeat it until I show up in the sacred space. I have only 2 requirements. You will carry something belonging to the person you wish me to connect you with. It can be their image or picture to make a link stronger. When I come, tell me who of your relatives you want to contact. The contact should be made in complete darkness in the sacred space if you do not have any belongings. to the person you wish to connect. Gray cross will be enough. When I come, just tell me which of your ancestors you want me to connect you with, and I will. No offerings is required. The only requirement I have is that you should pray a Christian prayer for the dead 7 times after the ritual is over. And you should mention the soul of the relative you communicated with. Those are my requirements. Regarding you, Dmitri, I also have a message. Working with the angels is permitted to you, but working with the jinn has the dangers you already know. We informed you of all of the dangers. We informed you of all of the risks. The choice is yours. You have to understand the following. Every choice has consequences. As King Vikitush said, if you call the dark jinn, they tempt you. If you call the light jinn, you tempt them. Every human or jinn interaction is risky. Every interaction between humans and angels is less risky. But the results with the angels will be different than the results with the jinn. The angels will demand for you to change according to the certain flow of divine energy. The jinn, however, will change the energy according to your will, even the light ones. The difference between the light ones and the dark ones is in for which things they will be willing to change the energy or personally intervene. The light ones have higher standards of the things they accept or decline. That is a message for you, which clarifies the information. Harut and Marut should not be called. If you call them, you will open yourself to the great danger, human. You will receive things you are not supposed to receive. And I am giving the warning to everyone listening this, not to summon or call the Watchers or Harut and Marut. You can call them, you can summon them, but the knowledges they teach are ultimately forbidden, and if truly mastered, they will be bigger danger to the user than majority of other things. Now I am not opposed to you summoning anything. You have freedom to do so. But certain knowledges shouldn't be studied as eagerly as many study them. It is simply the nature of the fact. Remember that you will die one day. And your soul will reside in a place corresponding to the energy you accumulated in life. That is judgment. According to the energy you absorb, you will go. According to the energy you radiate, you will go. That will be the judgment. And everyone truly has to be judged. There is no escape from it. That is my message. And when I come, the angel of death, there is no escape. And I swear by the names of the Supreme Being that I will execute my task willingly. So a lot of information came in this channeling, a lot of information I didn't expect. I will have to listen to this multiple times to get the point. But he seems to be alluding to a lot of, how can we say, things which I have to interpret. And basically, that is the channeling, but I want to talk about Azrael in general. He doesn't seem to be constrained by what energies is person working with. So he comes to both dark and light practitioners equally. That makes a lot of sense considering his office and what he does. And in general, I had a friend and ex-client of mine who had a really deep relationship with Azrael because he just came to her one day and she started working, and then he called me, actually she called me and she told me that one entity is approaching her, and then I figured out it was Azrael. She seems to have a really good relationship with him. There has never been a case like that in my entire career. She seems to be pretty much unique in that regard. Now, there is something I want to say regarding summoning angels. So, if you fast, so if you eat only, drink only water, sorry, and you don't eat anything, calling angels become exceptionally easy. And for whatever reason, you know, I am really drawn to fasting right now, so it seems that I will work with angels more. Now, if we consider my experience with Azrael, it is a really intense experience. Every time I called him, he came really intensely, and he would rarely speak to me, but to other people, he was really talkative in many ways and in many forms and in many situations. He seems to not be interested in fulfilling people's desires. He acts on his own accord, and he tends to, if compelled or asked for a favor, he tends to tell you the way how to summon the dead. He will not do it himself. That is basically my experience. However, if you ask the dead to do something, you will absorb energy, and that will absorb energy, and then you will be judged according to that energy. So every positive action will be positively judged, and every negative action will be negatively judged. He seemed to clarify a lot of that in this channeling. I am really grateful him for that. Now he taught me that there are three types of that: restless dead, dark elevated dead, normal dead, and light elevated dead. So every spiritual path has a type of that which get really empowered, and then they basically act more in the human world and in the spiritual world. I personally right now work with holy dead more. Back in the day, I worked more with the restless dead. It seems that dead people have much more people who died. They tend to be really approachable and really willing to listen to us. And working with people who died doesn't have to be dark or sinister. You can work with holy people who died, and it will be a really illuminating experience without any form of sinisterism. Working with the dead is only sinister if you work with types of dead who are attracted to those things. And so majority of people who work with the dead in a sinister manner, in a dark manner, in an impure manner, in a manner which involves a lot of impure substances and carcasses and blasphemous rites, actually are attracting the restless dead, which I did personally in the past. And when you deal with restless dead, in order to avoid danger, you have to have a spiritual protectors with you, and you also have to bring something to the restless dead, some kind of an energy they can absorb. Now, I prefer using the term people who died instead of dead, because the people who died are not really dead. Their souls are still occupying their graves, and in my personal experience, they also attend other dimensions as well as reincarnate sometimes. Now, in the Islamic theology, reincarnation was accepted back in the day, especially within the epistles of the Brethren of Purity and the Shia Islam. But right now, because of the developments, philosophical developments within Islamic theology, mostly modern developments, reincarnation is completely sidelined. Now, my personal experience is that reincarnation exists, and that indeed some of the people who die, they can reincarnate again in a human body, which kind of most of esoteric practitioners know from their personal experience. Now, if you work with the dead, you can access it through prayers for the dead if you are Christian, ancestral rituals if you are into voodoo, or salawat if you are a Muslim. I personally use salawat prayer, which I explained in previous videos of mine. Now, if you want to work with the dead, if the dead are holy, no offerings are required. You just have to repeat the salawat prayer and they will come. Now, regarding restless dead, they are called easily through the power of the divine name Al-Mumit, that is the energy, or Yamumit. You know, if you want to call more energy, you say Yamumit, and then you say, I call you restless dead by the power of Yamumit. But if you're calling restless dead for anything, you have to, after they come, give them something, some kind of energy, and they will probably listen to your request. Now, I don't recommend it because it is dangerous, but because a lot of people are on this channel for this kind of information, I'm giving them to you, but I'm giving them to you with a disclaimer. My experience with the Restless Dead have never been truly negative because I always came prepared and I never venerated them as gods or did really crazy stuff. But I heard a lot of other people who, with the Restless Dead, had extremely negative experience. Now there is a theory out there that there is no such a thing as dead people. There are only Karens who pretend to be dead people. I heavily disagree with that because it's not true. Energy of the Karen is pretty significant. Genic energy can be mixed with death energy. Those are separate energies. And a lot of the time, all of those theories about how Karens are dead and there are no dead, only Karens pretending to be dead. It's a new development in Islamic theology, relatively new development, which gained popularity with the theological works of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, and really, it's a theory I really oppose. Dead people do exist, and they can be asked for things, and they can even help in prayer, which is the point of reciting the salawat. But anyway, if we understand what we are doing, necromancy can be really beneficial. Results with working with the dead, those who died, can be really potent. I told you the ups and downs of every way of necromancy, kind of. The more holy dead will ask you to pray for them, and they will ask you to do it in this way, while the restless dead will usually ask for offerings. The dead who are in between will ask for offerings, but if the dead ask you for offerings for physical compensation, that's a pure sign to know that the dead you are dealing with are not necessarily holy dead, they are more neutral or negative. I have never encountered any holy dead person asking me for anything except praying for them and praying with them. So that's a sure sign to know what kind of dead are you working with, and a sure sign to not attract a restless dead is to call them and then read them prayers for the dead. And those who are interested in just offerings and who are not holy will leave, because the restless dead have nothing to get from the celestial energy you are calling in when you pray for them. They don't absorb that kind of energy, they absorb offerings, physical things you are giving them. And that's kind of distinguishing line between different types of the dead. And that basically helps you to avoid a lot of negative side effects people are dealing with and working with people who died. If you want more content like this, support me on Patreon and subscribe to the channel, like and share the videos. I'll talk to you soon.